Welcome, everyone. I am so glad you are here because today we are diving into something that separates the great from the forgotten. But before we begin, let me give you a short introduction to myself. So my name is Lindsay Dolman, and I have been a athlete or soccer player basically for many years. My journey had started when I was 8 years old. I had played for my school back then, primary school, and fell in love with the game. I had started at about 8, and by the age of 10, had then played for my first soccer club. And that club was called Cape Town Angels. And through playing for Cape Town Angels at about the age of 12, 13, after 2, 3 years of lots of practice, had then ended up playing in the semi-professional league at that time. I think it was called the Sanlam League back then, but what a journey it was. And so from a very young age, I had been playing semi-professional already. Also, while being in school, I had played for the Western Province, so representing the Western Province through my school, and had also been the captain of my primary and my high school. And so I've played for various clubs during that time. After Cape Town Angels, I had played for Ambassadors in Sport. I had played for Milano Ladies, where I was the captain, and had played for Vasco da Gama. And with Vasco, we basically won everything that year. We had won the Co Cup, we had won the um, what is the league called? We had won the Sasa League, and then we had also won the National League where we had ended up. And so basically took out all the teams that year, and so have the experience of basically being in a club and contributing towards national champions. And so apart from playing soccer, I also had a teaching career. I had matriculated in 2008, and about 2009 into 2010 had started my teaching career, started studying for about 3 or 4 years, and then had gone into the teaching field. And it's been about maybe 12 years to this year that I've been teaching or been in the education system, and what a blessing it has been. In the year 2022, I had taken on a different role, a role which was or became a governess. And part of that role was managing an educational program, but also managing other people or instructors like a guitar instructor or a singing coach or um, ukulele. So basically, different kinds of people having a different role on my side, just overseeing and managing them. And in about 2023, which was 2 years ago, I had then joined a professional property management team. We oversee tenants, we oversee units, we oversee maintenance, basically falling under real asset care. And so during this experience, I've of course had hand-on experience when it came to getting things done, just communicating with tenants, just everything that is needed to get a system going. And so about last year 2024, I then also had joined a publishing team contributing to book development, lots of financial literacy for children, but also for parents and for the aunties and the uncles out there and the cousins, basically anybody who needs the financial literacy. And so we have some content out, we have some books out, and what we're going to go into today is one of the key books that has changed my life. And so on the screen, we do have a touch or a slight heading on what we're going to work on or talk through today. And so the book that I'm referring to is called The Power Ladder, okay? The Power Ladder, which is an athlete book that has changed my life. And so what I want to do today is just go through a few of the slides that we do have available for this book. Some information that has helped me, but can also help you as well. And so it's a known fact that everybody wants to reach the top, but very few learn to stay there. And so the thing about survival is all about power and basically where you find yourself. And so this book that I'm referring to has different rungs, okay? So whether you are an athlete, whether you are a coach, whether you are an entrepreneur, basically it applies to everyone. When I say it applies, I am referring to the truth. Getting in is easy, but staying in takes power, planning, and perspective. And so let's just touch on a few things. Survival requires longevity, it requires adaptation, it requires discipline, and then, of course, career strategy. And so I would like to touch on the first chapter today. We will have more webinars going forward for the other chapters, but today we're just focusing on our first chapter, which has these headings in. And of course, it's roots that is going to help you have lasting success. And so very important that by the end of today's session, you should be able to understand these four principles, because they don't just apply in sports, but also in business, in your life, in a leadership role, and all of that. And so very powerful book. It was a blueprint for me and can definitely be a blueprint for you. And so something that people forget, like everybody can start fast, or everybody wants to start fast because they want to get to the top. But when they get to the top, they don't last. And so I have one question. I have one question for you to think about, but also one question that I had to think about after my playing career is now done. Like, was I able to last? And so the question is, can you last? And so longevity, the first subheading that I was referring to. Most people think about success and how quickly they can rise, but longevity is sustaining yourself, or how long you can sustain yourself. And so if we look at different kind of sports, like in the NFL, their average career for players only lasts about 3.3 years. In the NBA, it's about 4.5 years, and then Formula One drivers, basically less than 5 years. And so those who last longer do something different. Do we know what that is? That is the question. So let's look at a few people. Tom Brady. We all know who Tom Brady is. He was drafted 199th. He was overlooked, but he played for over 20 years. And so his secret wasn't by luck, wasn't raw skill. It was what he had to do daily. So his routine, his nutrition, his sleep, and his consistency. Something that's very important that he did not just plan for the first year, but for year 10, because that is what longevity is. It's about being the best and being prepared. So basically, it's asking yourself, what am I doing that I will survive for maybe 5 to 10 years from now, and not in year 1? The adaptable outlasts the talent, and that is so true, because in sport today, no matter which sport it is, or in life, or in business, anything, rules change. The game changes. The people that you interact with, or the customer, the audience basically change. And so you need to adapt as well. And so adaptation isn't about abandoning who you are, it's about upgrading how you operate. And so we basically have to think, do I evolve with the time, or do I fade into the background? And so another example we can look at is Lewis Hamilton, F1, brilliant driver. I absolutely love him. And so he didn't just survive Formula One. He dominated across the rule changes, across the car models and the team politics that we get in Formula One, because he never got stuck in the version of itself or himself. And adaptation is different for everyone, but staying relevant and not being replaced is so important. And so another question I have, when was the last time you had learned something new before you had to? And this applies to me so often. I am constantly learning on a daily basis, even if it wasn't my time period or meant for me in that time. The fact that I had learned something new that I can apply in future is so important to me. Okay, so everyone wants results, but few want the routine. And the routine and discipline is what keeps us going. And so it's not about perfection. It's basically about showing up every single day. And so there are three pillars of discipline. Let's look at them. Number one is preparation. So basically, showing up before the opportunity, being prepared before the time so that when the opportunity arises, you are ready for it. The second one is consistency, doing it when nobody's watching, no eyes on you, nobody to impress, no nothing, but basically constantly doing things when the doors are closed, when nobody is looking. And so the last one is control. So basically measuring or mastering your emotions under pressure. And pressure can come in all forms. Pressure comes in all shapes and sizes for everyone. And so it's how you deal with that. And Dustin Johnson, who was in the PGA, he did it, or he made it, because discipline gave him the control to make calculated moves. And so, what is the one thing that you need to change in your routine in order for your performance to elevate? And so, it's all about the long game. Survival isn't about, or isn't random, sorry, it's strategic. Whether you are in sport, whether you are in business, longevity is so important. And so everyone, every contract, every post, every choice should be like a move on a chessboard where you are moving the pawns around, or moving the king around, or moving the queen around, putting it in place to better yourself or your future. LeBron James, I'm sure we all know him. What a brilliant basketball player, but he turned his basketball career into an enterprise. And so, because as we mentioned before, true power doesn't come from just participation, but positioning yourself. And so it's important that we think like a CEO and not just a player. So whether you are currently in your player phase or after you are done playing and you've retired, like what is your thought process now and your strategy to keep you at the table or in the room after the game changes? And so let's touch on four important things. Longevity keeps you in the game. Adaptation keeps you relevant. Discipline keeps you consistent, but strategy keeps you powerful. And so I would absolutely love to hear from you. Which of these pillars do you feel is the strongest in your life right now? And which one do you think you need to build on next? Please drop me a comment in the section below, and I would love to hear from you. Also, if you have any questions, in the comment section again, and I would definitely touch on your questions and answer them as best as possible. And so let's look at what we've covered today, and then a short glimpse into the book that has changed my life. Longevity, as mentioned, adaptation, discipline, and strategy. And each one of these will take you higher from survival or survival to control to success or to power. Okay. And so if you are ready, like I have been ready, this is the book for you. It is called The Power Ladder Athlete, excuse me, From Survival to Absolute Power. And so where can you find this book? That is most important. We do have a scanned QR code for you to just drop us a scan and you will find the link to it. You will find this book on Amazon, but you will also find it on our website, which is called www.fasciolipublishing.com. This book had changed my life, and I'm pretty sure this book will change your life too. And so I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you once again for joining us on, or joining me on this presentation.